together that 4th of July day. That's when the land you're standing on became the U.S. of A. United we will stand, but divided we fall. One nation under God says it all. Men are created equal, words written in by hand. They all stand to fight when a cry for freedom rings. Freedom isn't free, it comes with a cost. One nation under God says it all. One nation under God says it all. This old world's changing, it's changing every day. For the land of the free and the home of the brave. Stand up everybody, stand proud and tall. One nation under God says it all.
Good evening and welcome to IITW Radio. It is 1/22 of 2019. We got a whole bunch of stuff to cover and only an hour to do it with us. So my co-host is every Tuesday night is my good friend Greg Williams.
Hello.
How you doing, Greg?
Great. Good to be back.
How's the law business going?
Pretty good. Crime has been good to me.
We got to wait on some.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a crime problem in Jacksonville, so we try to make sure they get their day in court, and we represent them well. And not everybody's arrested is guilty, as you know.
Yeah. Did you see the whole thing with the Biden backing it up on what he was saying about crack and stuff? No.
Biden?
Yeah. Well, Biden was in the news.
What did Biden say?
Oh, he's saying that he was wrong for ever prosecuting people like that and all the other stuff, but he should have stood his ground because crime rate drops as he was.
Biden is so old and so senile that if that's the best the Dems got to do, they got problems.
Yeah.
They got no energy. If you thought Jeb Bush was low energy level, listen, all Biden can do is paw on interns. I can't even believe they're acting like he's a credible candidate. He can paw an intern. Paw an intern. That's all he can do.
Yeah. So we got to wait on a few more people to join in. What do you think about this? It's cold up there where you guys are at, isn't it?
Oh, it's not that bad.
It's 62.
Hey, real men love the cold. We don't eat quiche and we like cold.
I'm not a real man then.
It's 55. They're in the 50s, baby. It's cold.
It's 62 outside the studio right now.
Well, it is nice and warm. It was a little cold yesterday. But, I like it when it gets in the 30s and 40s. Gives me,
I love our snowbirds, but I think if they would quit coming down all in big flocks and clumps, it probably wouldn't drag that Nordic air with it. Every year we wind up with that right after they come down.
Hey, all I can tell you is it's been a real crazy week. That Pelosi, she's one twisted sister.
Oh, it's going to backfire on them here pretty soon.
Who the hell goes out of town, wants to leave the country when you got 800,000 federal workers not working because you don't want to sign off on some security for the border? Give me a break. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And yet, but that's what they would have done. They would have hauled ass. But guess what? Trump shot him down.
Well, 10 days.
Trump had to pull rank.
10 days after they were in office, they were down in Puerto Rico partying it up.
You guys are unbelievable. I mean, hey, another thing is there's some good momentum about getting these guys to pass a law. If they can't pass a budget, then they don't need to get paid. Government shuts down, then they don't get paid. That's the only way you're going to fix this problem. Make the Congress people responsible by making them subject to the laws they pass us. And if they can't get the books balanced and the bills paid, then they don't get paid.
Yep, I agree 100%. And how can you go and then take another trip a week after you're back from your first trip of only being in office for 10 days and then plan on taking another trip overseas?
Well, all I can say is that Pelosi is a complete idiot. And and I'm happy to have her back. Okay, it's good that America can see what lunacy follows and what lunacy is on the left and what lunacy looks like. These are the same people that want us to be a socialist country, an open border country, a sanctuary nation. Let's let everybody move in from the rest of the world.
Oh man, I should have put that thing up. See if you can go on my page and find that thing I put up today, Marie. You know which one I'm talking
That's
about? If Chuck
you
Schumer and
talking
Nancy
about.
Pelosi had a baby.
Oh, oh, oh.
Wait, do you see this? I'll get her to transfer it over to Chris, and we'll get it put up. Um,
Hey, go ahead. I saw O'Reilly today on Newsmax. You know O'Reilly ever since he got run from Fox, or they said he was philandering or following women. Well, I don't know what it was. He paid a lot of money and they fired him, and he made a lot of money over there. But ever since then, he seems to be like the only problem with O'Reilly is he's so condescending. These guys at Newsmax are doing it. They're pretty good, and he comes off as condescending a lot. I don't like that about him.
well, face it, if Pelosi and Schumer and Cortez and Harris and them were in office, we wouldn't have a freaking show.
Oh,
We,
well, they're not in office yet. Okay, I understand that. But by the way, I've been channeling the Dice Man.
I heard that Andrew Dice Clay, you've been channeling through him lately.
Yeah, because
So,
someone was asking Andrew Dice Clay what he thought of the Democratic
well,
field.
let me ask you what you think before you go on with that. Let me ask you what you think about these candidates. Um, let's start with Harris. What do you think about her? Since you're channeling through, you got to do the whole Ed or the whole Johnny Carson thing though. With
I'm channeling.
what would Andrew Dice Clay say, Mr. Clay, about Harris being in office?
No. You got to give me the full name for the full effect.
Oh, Hillary Clinton,
No. Kamaya.
Kamala Harris.
What would the Dice Man say? Because I'm kind of channeling him here. I mean, he's not here, but I'm channeling him. And you know what he'd say?
What's that?
What about what Andrew Dice Man's thoughts are on Kamala Harris as a possible presidential candidate?
Yeah, what's that?
Blow me.
What what about Hillary
Give me
Rodham Clinton? She's gonna be running, Andrew. She's gonna be running here pretty soon.
give me another one. Who else is running? I
Hillary
can channel.
Hillary Clinton says she's probably gonna run again.
Really?
Yeah, what does Andrew Dice think about her?
Dice Man would say, blow me.
um, what about Cory Booker and oh wait, the best one yet. You know who Elizabeth Warren is, right?
Wait a minute. That old white woman that goes around telling everybody she's an Indian, that half baked white woman?
Not anymore. She not anymore. She's the old white woman that goes around telling people she's not an Indian anymore.
But she did used to say she was an Indian.
Yeah. Now she's an
And
alcoholic
actually,
white.
and she actually conned Harvard University because they bragged about her being an Indian.
Yeah, she was there first.
One little Indian, two little Indians, three little Indians. Oh my gosh. Okay, but anyway, getting back to what's her name again?
Um,
Warren, Pocahontas Warren.
yeah.
What the Dice Man would say about a possible Warren candidacy. Blow me. Okay, what else you got? And what other candidates are up?
Okay. Let's see. There's a bunch of them. They haven't
Booker,
figured out
Cory
who's going to be
Booker.
a
What would the Dice Man say about Cory Booker?
Cory Booker.
Blow me.
And what about let's see, who else do we have? Um,
There's some guy
oh,
named
Bernie
Elaine,
Sanders. Bernie Sanders.
that socialist pig. What the Dice Man would say, blow me.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of
So wait a minute, is there anybody on the Democratic field that the Dice Man hasn't addressed yet?
Joe Biden.
Blow me, Joe.
Uncle Joe. I don't know if it's fair we talk about Uncle Joe like that. He's kind of nuts, you
Blow
know it.
me. Hey, the dice man would say, blow me about the whole doggone Democratic field. Blow me.
We should
Moving
make
on.
we should make fun of Joe Biden though, because he's losing his marbles. I mean, when he was in office, he was saying, "Just take your shotgun and go outside and shoot if you see an intruder. Shoot it up in the air, like those bullets aren't going to come down somewhere." Then
Unbelievable.
thousands of people getting arrested. We probably shouldn't pick on him. I'm sure that
What
Alzheimer's is
about
set
those
in.
Catholic boys that got rousted by those mean, hateful
Jeez.
people, the black people, and then the Indian came up on him?
Yeah,
And
it
he's
was.
like a 16-year-old kid, and he showed a lot of restraint. But I couldn't believe how the media was lying about that.
It was the Black Hebrew Coalition. Yeah, and they started the whole damn thing.
Terrible, nasty people.
Those kids were sitting there waiting on a bus, and I saw today where there's a bunch of news sources still running that crap ass feed of how these kids were sitting there taunting these Indians, and they never were. The kids were sitting there waiting on a bus. They walked down to the Right for Life rally, and they had Make America Trump hats on. Well, the Black Coalition Hebrew guys, idiots, bunch of adults down there, started yelling at these kids, calling them incested, trailer trash, everything else. So the kids started chanting, "Build the wall, build the wall." Not even about the Indians. The Indians were, they're confused.
Right.
And they walk up, and this kid's a 15-year-old kid is standing there. Now, what the Indian guy did, I know he was confused. It still wasn't right to do that to a 15-year-old. That the kid was sitting there. He said he wasn't smirking. He just trying to defuse the situation, and he didn't know. I mean, he's got to be scared to death. An Indian sitting there pounding a drum in his face, and then a bunch of black dudes.
A great deal of restraint, I thought, and I thought that it was just nobody looked good in that except the kids looked the most responsible of the bunch. I really hate that.
There was a few kids that started doing the Indian chop.
You know what? That's nothing compared to what they were subjected to.
Oh yeah,
Have those guys go ahead, rabble rousers, race baiters, go ahead and try to create a fictitious situation so a more than willing CNN could run a twisted story to try to further hurt Trump. They care more about hurting Trump than making the country great. I mean, I got to believe right now that there's 45% of the country that doesn't want to make America great again. Most of them are Democrats. They don't want to make America great. They don't want America to be great. They want an open border, weak and pathetic America. They want a lead from the behind from America. I mean, they are so lost, and the Democratic Party in general is so lost. It's practically anti-American. I hate to say it. I mean, they're closer. The Democratic Party is closer to the Communist Party than they are mainstream America, and that's a sad thing to say, but it's the truth.
Oh no doubt. I mean, you got this little Cortez girl running around, and the stuff that is coming out of her mouth is just unbelievable. But what amazes me is how many people jump on the freaking bandwagon.
I hate to cut you off, but getting back to OAC, I was wondering what the Dice Man had to say about OAC. Because, he's out of New York, and when he's not in California, he's in New York. And, of course, I heard that he rode the bus with OAC. They were on the same subway, conjecture has it. And he got a firsthand experience with OAC. And based on that, trying to figure out what does the Iceman think of OAC, and you know what he said?
What's that?
Blow me.
Vanessa Shaw just joined in.
Okay, well, that was the Iceman.
We're getting everybody tonight. Okay, let me ask you about Paul Ryan while you're there, so we can get a Republican in here too. Well, since you're channeling through Andrew Dice Clay, what would the Dice say about him?
He'd probably say, "Blow me."
Okay, you know what amazes me is that Mr. High and Mighty. Did we ever find that picture? My
Oh,
IT guy
Schumer.
stepped
Yeah,
out.
I heard you got some news on Schumer.
Oh yeah, I was going back through my notes, and so I'm looking at Chuck Schumer's stuff. You remember Heidi Fleiss? That was
Oh yeah,
Miss,
the high-paid hooker.
yeah, the
New York.
Madam of Hollywood. She had
Yeah.
all these people's names in there, and back in the '90s, I remember covering the story of her. And guess whose name was in her black book? Her number, his number, and his name, which checks out to be his phone number, by the way.
No way. You're not telling me that Minority Leader Schumer was messing with the prostitute?
A bunch of them, apparently.
Man, that guy, there's something that bugs me about that guy. I don't think he's honest.
Nah, but when he was jumping on Trump about saying he had a prostitute pissing on him in a Russian hotel,
Hey.
which turned out to be a complete fallacy. But
Do
he's
you
got some room
know
to speak.
one of the best photos I've ever seen? And if you could, maybe you guys can, you got a really good, talented staff down there. Maybe they could do something with it. We need to get a picture. I want to get a picture of that. Remember when Trump gave his speech and then they did the rebuttal and it was Schumer and Pelosi standing like, Dumb and Dumber? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
You had
Did,
Schumer
did we find
right
that picture
beside
yet?
Pelosi, and they look like that old farmer picture, the guy, the old man, and the other lady.
Oh, I got a better one than this for you.
That picture's 1,000 words, though. That I'd run on that. Hey, I'm all about Trump saying, "Win back the House." I mean, these guys have been in power for 1 month. They've taken as many out of the country junkets as they could until and they'd still be out of the country if they had their way.
Hey,
And the government's not even open.
I got a picture for you. I'm gonna put up. You tell me what you think about this picture.
Had a child. If Dumb and Dumber had a child. That's really good. I like that. Oh, that's great. Oh.
You
Now,
like that?
I don't know if Pelosi would like to be referred to as dumber than Schumer, but I think she is.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, that's some good stuff.
She's back at that thing. We got to pass it before we can get it. Find out what's in it. Now she wants to open the government before she even does anything. Let's just throw this bill together and then we'll pass it, and then
It's funny that Pelosi, as smart as she thinks she is, the Democrats always think that they're smarter than they are. They act like they invented the wheel. You hate people like that, but that's what they are. So Pelosi's now going to come up. Go ahead. Go back to your point.
Okay.
I'll let it go.
Well, I'll jump to the next one. The State of the Union address. Do you remember last year what happened in the State of the Union?
Oh yeah. Well, last year there was about the State of the Union. I don't think it was suspended. So what happened last year?
When he had all those black people in there and black unemployment had risen, and he had some veterans in there and stuff, and the Democrats refused to stand up when he was talking
I remember
about.
that. Yeah, they were idiots. They were idiots then too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what they're.
Pelosi wants to cancel it.
Yeah, well, he sent her a message. He sent her a message today saying a contract is a contract.
Good.
Yeah.
She wouldn't understand that.
And now, just to taunt her, he's gonna have a walkthrough before they even go on. But you know what amazes me is she sits there and says,
"Well, look, here's the point. This will be one State of the Union that you don't want to miss."
"Oh no, that's for sure."
If this government is still closed when the State of the Union comes down the pipe, look out, Pelosi, and look out. Could be the end of the Democratic Party as we know it. Why? Because seriously, you guys can't even run the government, can't even open the government. You're that incompetent. You're not, Trump's been nothing but reasonable. He wants to negotiate. And now you guys are going to be that stupid because you want no borders. You don't want anybody. We don't want anybody coming in that's going to hurt people and, kill people and maim people or MS-13. You want all these bad actors in our country. Unbelievable.
Well, she's lost her ever living friggin' mind, and so is Schumer. Here's the thing about the whole wall issue, and she was trying to call off the State of the Union, saying security things, but yet she was going to fly over there and take security with her. That she's more worried about that. But if there's no
Hey,
wall,
she has anything to offer our foreign policy. The Democrats have been horrible. We're still recovering from the disaster that was 8 years of Obama foreign policy, from the disaster that was Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State, only to be followed by the equally disastrous John Kerry, who's I wonder if John Kerry's getting paid by the Iranians as we speak.
what was
I
it?
wouldn't be surprised if he's a lobbyist for Iran.
What was it Cortez said today, Marie? How many years was it before the Earth would end? 12 years. She got on there and talked because of global warming today. Said in 12 years, the Earth will end.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I remember
Brilliant.
Kerry with his
Brilliant.
big old lurch looking head got on there and said the same thing. No, it wasn't Kerry. It was not Kerry. Vice President Gore.
I remember Gore did that
Al
a long
Gore.
time ago, and yeah, the end here and all that crap never happened.
Yeah, he got on there and said that by 2016 or 2018, the Earth, Florida would be flooded, half the Earth would be flooded, California would be gone, like it's Notre Dame.
Yeah,
I'm still sitting here in Florida.
They just go ahead and take all of our money while they fly around first class or private planes. They want to take our money and redistribute it to all the illegals. I still don't get that either.
Well, here's what they,
and that's somehow going to solve global warming. These people are so lost. The same people that propagate global warming propagate no borders, propagate anybody can vote. It's all about hurting America. It's not about making America great. Make no mistake about it. The Democrats are not patriots. The only patriot we've got right now in government, I can't say in government, the only one, but in the executive branch, we have our president. Our president is a patriot. Pence is a patriot. You cannot say that about any of these Democratic leaders.
You know what I think they ought to do, Greg? I think what they should do, Democrats and Republicans, because we the people, let's face it, the United States is a business. We hire Trump as our president to run the country, and then everybody else under him as foremans and, shop managers and stuff. But if we do, why don't we just do them like they've done us? Okay, why don't we take their pensions, just like our Social Security is our pension? Let's take their pensions and put them in a freaking fund and let we the people spend their damn money. Then let's take their damn.
We'll call it a lockbox.
Let's take.
We'll call it a lockbox.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really.
And we'll spend it on. We'll spend it on. I don't know, gumdrops or something. Gummy bears. Wait.
We'll call it
CDB gummy bears.
And give it a real nice name, and then we'll have the bill do the exact opposite of what it's named to do, because that's how they do stuff in D.C.
Yeah.
They're so dishonest up and down the board, but we've never seen such legislative dishonesty as we did under Obama. That's where they were lying, knowing they were lying, would pass something they knew was false, and then later brag about how they lied to us and how they are so good because they're lying to us to get stuff passed. That's what the Democrats are about, and I hate to say it. Everybody says, "Oh, you're too tough on the Democrats." Really, what we need is to get rid of this. The Democrats are dead; they're a dying breed. Okay, what we need is liberals and conservatives that can actually work together. When I was coming up, there used to be more liberal Republicans. We don't have hardly, most Republicans aren't that liberal. Some Republicans are more liberal on social issues, such as myself and many others, but they were always more conservative across the board, and now the Democrats, we lost all the conservative Democrats. They tend to be Republican, but the problem is not so much Republican versus Democrat. It's conservatives versus radical liberal. They're called progressive. They call themselves progressive. They're far from progressive. They're radical liberal extremists. These are the Antifa-loving group of the Democratic Party. The Chuck Schumers, the Pelosi's, the Warners, the Schiffs, the what's that crazy Harris? She doesn't represent America. She doesn't represent American values. She was a horrible attorney general, and she's a horrible senator. And all she cares about is illegal aliens and people that are sexually confused. Okay, I hate to say that, but she seems to care more about the transgender community than she does about mom and pop America. You
Yeah.
know, and here's the thing: there was something recently published, transgender women. What like some story in a magazine. Well, if you're saying transgender women, well, at least you're acknowledging you're either a woman or you're a man. Transgender men, transgender women. Why would you then say that there's a third group? I mean, we have men, we have women. You're born either a man or a woman. And there's these rare, super rare cases of some sort of a birth defect. But half the time they get it wrong. And the worst thing they can do is try to surgically alter young children because they think they're confused because their older adults have let them get confused.
Well, in
I
California,
mean, they don't even like viral men anymore. Masculinity's bad. Toxic masculinity. What the hell is that?
Angie
What's
says,
wrong with real men being men?
Angie says she agrees 100%. Well, today in California, did you see where now in their Congress and their Senate out there that they can't say he or she anymore? They have to say they.
Remind me to call California's governor and mock him. I want to call over there. Once in a while, I'll pick up the phone and call somebody like that. Those guys are that stupid. Gavin Newsom, boy, that guy's a lunatic. California's lost their marbles. I don't think our federal government should bail out California when they go belly up. Talk about mismanagement. Gavin Newsom gave a speech where he says he encourages poor management. That's why he's in government.
Well, the Supreme Court is backing Trump up on the gender policy in the Army now. So,
good. I hope they
or
do.
in the
Good.
service. Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to. The military is supposed to defend the country. It's not supposed to be some social experiment.
Hello, Melba.
I mean, I'm old school. I didn't think it was a good idea to put women in subs. Okay, to be honest. And I don't think it's a great idea to have women on Navy ships. Why? Because young men love young women. And if you're going to put a bunch of young men on a ship with a bunch of young women, there's going to be some copulation.
Well, there's people that did that to the Boy Scouts. Now, how smart is that? You take away the Boy Scouts and you just call it the Scouts, and you let Girl Scouts go camping with the Boy Scouts. What could be better for a disaster than to have a bunch of young boys full of testosterone out in the woods with a bunch of girls camping that have nothing but estrogen flowing? It's not the Cub Scouts or the, what's the other one? The little Girl Scouts. What's that called?
The Brownies.
The Brownies, yeah. It's not the Brownies and the Cub Scouts. This is the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, which are all over 10 years old, out sleeping in the woods. Now, where could that possibly go wrong?
Really? Well, again, when you have social engineers, political correctness has been such a terrible thing, and it infected science. It's affected our language. It's affected our interpersonal relations. The poor psychologists, they've lost their mind. They are so stupid. American psychology, I don't think has done much productive since Erickson. You got to go back to maybe the 70s or the 80s. Most of the good psychological work has been done for years, and now they're just trying to make up something like, I'm nervous when I don't have my phone. Oh, well, that's a new psychological disease called phone nervousness or something. Take these drugs for it, I mean, they're unbelievably dumb.
Yeah, when Dr. Spock came in, when you let an actor come in and try to tell you how to raise your kid, a person that lives in fantasy land, especially with a bunch of guys that wear tights on a spaceship, there's something wrong with that. But they want to base everything off science. Okay, let's take the whole science aspect to this. Okay, we'll leave the right to life stuff out of it right now. Let's just focus on the transgender stuff. Okay, if you want to go off scientific stuff, if you have an X and a Y chromosome, now a few people are born with both parts, so hermaphrodites. But if you want to know,
if you understand that, and and nobody wants anybody to be prejudiced against, and whatever you need to do to protect them. But go ahead.
Look. If here's the scientific thing about it. Okay, you look down, you pull your pants out. If you got a pecker hanging out, you're a damn guy. If there ain't nothing in there, then you're a woman. Now, if you got a bigger belly like we're getting as we get older, and you might have to take a mirror and hang it out down there and see, oh, hey, I'm still a guy. There's still something hanging down there. But God Almighty, and then you're going to go try to get in the service, and this is the one reason why these people that are having issues are going into service so that the service will change them to get their tools changed from their box. But there's some ugly damn.
It's the blind leading the blind and confused people. You don't want to empower confused people with more confused people.
Angie said it's called phone attachment syndrome.
Phone attachment. Thank you, Angie.
But I don't want my money to pay for some freaking sex change.
No, and nor should it. Okay, like I say, I mean, wasn't there a guy that Obama celebrated, and then he later became a woman, like the traitor in Iraq?
Oh yeah.
He walked off a thing, and then later he became a woman and tried to get change.
Oh, Bird Dog.
Feeded him like he was somebody special.
Bird Dog. Bird Dog.
What a coward that guy was. He ought to have been shot.
Yeah, it seems he got a bunch of stuff wrong. So, anyways, I was reading today on Bruce Orr's statements. Actually, yesterday when they came out.
I haven't seen them yet. I can't wait to look at them.
Yeah, Bruce Orr admitted that he told the FBI, he told James Comey, Mueller was involved, he knew, and two of the people that was on Mueller's team, well, not Mueller was involved, but two of the people that Mueller put on his team, he knew that they all knew about the false dossier from Christopher Steele. They knew about it. They
call that the deep state insurance policy.
Yep, Teresa just joined in. But yeah, they knew about it. They knew about the crap way before they even went to the FISA courts.
Like, what happened with Trump, what Obama did to Trump, and make no mistake about it, Obama, his crooked cabinet, that whole bunch that sold the uranium to the Russians, all those
Fusion GPS.
People, and they're still, some of them are quite well known and supposed to be well respected. But all of these crooked people, it's all going to come home. All going to come home. And these people that are in the Mueller camp that were a part of the FISA abuse, that is outrageous.
If Barr doesn't get in and do something about it, we're screwed. I mean, we're screwed. You cannot let that kind of...
The real deal. When's that vote,
I'm sorry?
The vote? You know when the vote is on Barr?
It was supposed to be here in the next couple of days. But now they're focusing on the shutdown and everything else,
I hope they get the vote done, because as soon as the vote's done, we got to get Barr in there, because once Barr gets in there, they're going to fire Rosenstein. Rosenstein's leaving as soon as Barr is in. And then Barr can restore some sanity and some integrity to a broken Justice Department.
It won't happen.
No mistake about it. It is broke.
It won't happen. Rosenstein will go ahead and retire, because he's already put it out there that
he's going to leave as soon as Barr is approved.
Yep, and then they won't bring him back.
He's done. And then he can't cover up all the dead bodies. He spent 2 years covering his tracks. That's the sad part.
Mm-hmm.
You had the deep state looking out for the deep state the first 2 years of the Trump presidency. And the Department of Justice, I don't think Trump knew how bad it was and how bad it is.
Yeah.
It's getting better, but, I'm not even sold on the new FBI director. I hope he's legit. I don't know.
We'll wait and see.
More about their reputation than doing good work.
Yeah. Well, Barr and Mueller go way back. They have dinner together.
Right. I understand that. So that could be good. I mean, some people act like Mueller doesn't, like he's maybe not crooked. I don't know. I mean, I think the jury's still out on Mueller. I don't know how you can. Now, when his report comes out, if he actually did some stuff and looked into the Clintons' role in FISA abuse, that'd be nice. But I think he's just turned a blind eye to all things Democrat, and it's just completely focused on made-up BS. I mean, total, complete fabrications trying to undermine the Trump presidency.
Well, his main bird dog on his team is the one who has already put people in prison and then the Supreme Court overturned it while they were in there.
Reversed him. Yeah, he was terrible in the Alaskan senator race. I think there was an Alaskan senator that was wrongfully convicted, and then he died, and they finally threw out the conviction.
Well, yeah,
there was Stevens railroaded.
There was stuff that went on in the mob that Mueller was involved in, where they gave these guys rite of passage to go and murder people. All
Mueller
kinds of crap.
Was involved with Whitey Bulger. Somehow there was a Bulger.
Yep.
Connection with Mueller. That bothers me.
Yeah, we don't have enough time to get into that, but
that's a lot of politics.
Angie said that was her being sarcastic.
What?
About the phonophobia.
Oh, well, she was
phone
right.
attachment.
I think that's probably a American Psychological Association position. They're probably coming out that if they haven't already.
Yeah, that's like here, instead of sending your kids out to play.
Auroraphobia, or they would name it some other fancy name, I'm sure.
My kids.
Yeah, but what about the other story? There was another story that came out, and it was Friday, and it was all over CNN, and it was a big friggin' lie. Oh, Trump ordered somebody to lie. Yeah, Trump ordered Cohen to lie, which would be a crime if that was in fact true. But it was so outrageous that Mueller, he had to call bullshit on it. You know what I'm saying? He had to say, look, this didn't happen. Whatever reporting is false, okay? They're still trying to run with that. Yeah, BuzzFeed. But when I saw it, I'm in this restaurant, and my friend, he kind of likes the Dems. He's, oh, look at this. I said, don't worry about it. They'll retract it tomorrow. Because that's what they do. If it's on CNN, you know it's not true. So sure enough, and it wasn't even within 12 hours. That night, they retracted it. That day, later that day, Mueller put a stop to that story. What do you think about that?
Well, that was only because Barr was going to hand him his ass. Barr was going to walk in there and say, look, why did you know about this and not correct it? And you just let it go on. You know, he knows that Barr is coming in, and he knows he would have had to answer to Barr as being a new AG. So when he walks in there and he says, okay, Robert, why did you let this go on? You knew it was false. You knew it was phony. There's almost so much crap going on about false this and false that right now. Why did you let this go on? Mueller didn't have a choice. If he hadn't did what he did, he would have came in there and Barr would have fired him.
I think what's going to happen is Mueller's going to be wrapping up this report here in the next month or two. That's what I see happening. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I still don't know.
I think he wants to get it done because he's going to have an attorney general that's going to have him toe the line a little bit. I mean, my God, you cannot just run roughshod, threaten everybody with incarceration, and set up perjury traps on everybody.
Well, Mueller has to justify his job. He spent, what, $30 million plus now? More than that. He spent all these millions and millions of dollars. He has to justify it. That's why he's going off the deep end. When he found there was no Russian collusion, I'm sure when he looked at it, he goes, holy crap. This is bought and paid for by Hillary Clinton. We got Bruce and Nettie Orr, Bruce was feeding her stuff. She was feeding him back. It was all the false dossier with Christopher Steele, who the Clinton Foundation set up with a Russian operative, knowing it was phony. She bought and paid for that stuff.
I still don't believe the Clinton Foundation has not been investigated. I mean, my God, they just put Corrine Brown in jail up here for 5 years for her little penny, nickel, dime foundation. It was nothing compared to the corporate and the corrupt pay-to-play Hillary Clinton Foundation.
Because Obama got out of office. And you know the bad thing about this? Here's the problem now. And this is the way that I see it. Okay.
Probably had his hands in that till, but go ahead.
And I hate to say it like this, but anymore whites are jumping on whites and making it bad to be white. Okay? They're jumping on the average white guy or the average man can't do anything because he's either going to get said, just like with Kavanaugh, oh, back then he tried to spike my stuff with punch. All these different things and how they slandered him, he should have been able to sue the piss out of them. But now they're coming.
The Democratic playbook, though. They're all about the politics of personal destruction. They don't care. They're very Machiavellian. They're all like Nancy Griffin, okay? They're the View. Today's Democratic Party is the View, minus that one Republican girl. I think it's somebody's daughter, McCain's daughter. Everybody else, there's your Democratic Party. There's your Democratic women. That's a sad, sad commentary.
Well, it's getting It's getting bad enough now to where Whoopi Goldberg even got on TV today and said that it was wrong what they did to them little white boys. But you know what?
Well, the least thing she could say, because she was so rude and so ugly to Judge Judy, that I don't care if I ever see that idiot Whoopi Goldberg, who is hard to look at.
Janine Pirro.
The years have not been kind to Whoopi. They've not been kind to him, a lot of us, but to Whoopi in particular, it looks like there's two Whoopies.
It was Jeannie Perino, Judge Jeannie.
Yeah, Judge Jeannie. Yeah, Perino, they were terrible with her.
Yeah. Oh,
they're terrible.
That's
terribly.
That's a wrong woman to piss off there.
Hey, how about Judge? No, not Judge. Whoopi Goldberg has turned into a giant whoopee cushion.
Yeah, Kathy just joined in. But what about what's the redheaded chick's name there on The View?
I know, the one that was holding Trump's head up and couldn't understand why people don't like her anymore.
Joy Baker.
Kathy Richards. What's her name?
Or Joey Baylard.
The head of Trump.
Yo, Behart. She was
Kathy Griffin. Kathy Griffin.
No,
this idiot.
This is Joy Behart that's on there on The View.
Yeah, well, Joy Behart and Kathy Griffin, they remind me of each other.
She got on there and said today that she was talking, and to paraphrase for her, oh yeah, well, we couldn't find anything else to go after Trump for, so hell yeah, let's use all we can get on him, even if it's phony. And she was talking about those kids.
Exactly, their playbook. It's what they do. The sad part is CNN's lost so much credibility. I can't even watch them at night. I don't know where they get their news readers. That guy on at 9 o'clock is absolutely terrible. And all they want to do is call every Republican they meet a racist. Everybody's a racist. Everybody's a Nazi. It's all name calling. And if you don't have their group think, and the Democratic group think is hilarious. It's global warming's the number one problem. America's bad. Our enemies are good. They've got it all inverted because remember, it's the Democrats that came out with, she was telling her truth. It's her truth. As Cory Booker would say, it's her truth. Can you imagine if we had a President Booker? I'm here to give you my truth. And it's my truth that we're a great country. Cory Booker, meanwhile, he hasn't funded the Department of Defense for 10 years. It's my truth. I'm going to give you my truth. Give me a break. These guys have lost their mind.
They were saying Bernie Sanders was on TV today talking about how Trump is a racist, and a couple of them are calling him the Grand Wizard.
You're the racist.
Yeah.
The liberals are the biggest racists. Beware of the white liberal folk. And all my black friends out there, there's nothing more dangerous to the black community than the white liberal.
Well, every Democrat that I've asked, Greg, every Democrat that I know, I've been asking them the same question. If the wall is immoral and there's no problem with it, let's just take down all the walls then. Take it down at Yuma, let's take them all out. And then forget about it. Well, no.
Jails and prisons.
Well, you got Democrats now.
And governors' mansions and people that have property and want to protect it. Often they'll put a wall or a fence.
Why did they
Let's not get hung up on the name. It could be a fence with slats, or it could be a concrete barrier or a natural barrier. But we need some damn barriers, so let's build them.
Well, I've got a question for some of our Democrat listeners. If walls don't keep bad things out, then let's just take all the walls down at the zoos. Okay? You're not going to be afraid, and I'm not saying every illegal is bad, just like the zoo, okay? If you take the walls down at the zoo, Mr. Giraffe's not going to hurt you. The cute little deer running around are not going to hurt you, but let one lion, tiger, bear, or rhino come out of that and tell me you don't need a wall. You got a lion chewing on your ass. I want a wall. I
want some separation.
Answer me this, though.
You can also say, I want some space.
Answer me this.
I want some space.
Why hasn't Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer or Harris or any of these Congress people They want to go overseas where there's walls now, by the way, that protect them where they're at. Why haven't any of those guys been down to the borders?
They don't care. They're not about making America great. They're about tearing America down. The Democratic playbook is let's get as many illegals as we can to California, and then we'll register them to vote, because in California, as you know, you don't have to be a citizen to drive. But when you get your driver's license, we automatically register you to vote. Even if you're not a citizen, you'll be registered to vote. So they want a bunch of illegals coming down there trying to swing elections. That's what they want. It's all political.
Yeah,
It's
Jolie's.
ridiculous. And the irony is the second and third generation Hispanics will be voting Republican. Many of them, anyway.
Jolie said, "What about the walls around their homes? Why don't they have? Why do they have them?" And she's absolutely right. Last week Pelosi had some people camping outside of her wall at her house, and she had them arrested. But anyways, moving on, because we only got a few minutes here. There is some good news that came out of this government shutdown, though. Is
good. I'm all about good news. One thing I think is good about it is I think we kind of proved that there's 800,000 people that we really don't need to have on the payroll.
Angie made a good point. She said there isn't a wall there. That's why they haven't been down there.
No, that's funny.
But the one good thing that has come out of this whole government shutdown is that PayPal came out today, and they're offering to pay for all the people that have medical marijuana that work for the government, to pay for it while they're out of work. And that's just the people in the government's been shut down and affected by the government shutdown.
Mm-hmm. Well, that should be quite a few government workers, from my understanding.
I bet you Nancy Pelosi's not going to take a check now, her or Chuck.
Let me just say this. As long as they're getting paid, they have no incentive to do the right thing. But you know what? Trump is playing them like the fools that they are. He's made very reasonable offers. If they don't solve it themselves, he can get the military to build it, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, Mitch McConnell and the Republicans just this afternoon took a vote, and they've got enough Republicans to back their new bill to open up the government. They just need a few more Democrats, but they're going to be voting on it on Thursday afternoon at 2:30. So we'll see what happens to end the shutdown.
Well, that's that. But the House has got to see. The House is passing something that the Senate's not going to have anything to do with. And if the Senate is passing something the House is not, we're still at a standstill. The House is going to have to come around to the Senate side. If something can get through the Senate, it should be able to get through the House. We don't know, though. Yeah,
well, it'll be interesting to find out what Trump's deal is here on why he hasn't just pulled the plug and called it a national emergency, which it is.
Well, here's the thing. The problem is because then you'll have every president saying, you could have another president saying global warming's an emergency, and then try to do something stupid like Obama did with his executive orders.
Well, he just offered them, and the Democrats need to take this now because he just offered DACA and DACA recipients an extra 3 years to stay in this country. Now, they still don't get benefits and stuff, and they still don't get to vote, but at least they get set here while they're trying to work something out. He's giving them extension. Now, if the Democrats play this down and they don't take it and Trump withdraws that thing, then they are screwed because it's going to go before the Supreme Court. And you know what the Supreme Court's going to say?
Yeah, probably rule with Trump on the docket.
They're going to rule with it, and all these kids, all these dreamers are going to get shipped out of the country. And then it's going to fall back on the Democrats. Watch it, mark my words, and see what happens if it goes that way. Nancy and Chuck better wake their dumb asses up real quick. I'll give you the last 2 minutes. What do you got to say?
Well, gee,
because this hour went by quick.
I'm happy New England won, and I'm wondering how is it they win all these playoff games? And some of my friends think that maybe they know some referees or something because New England does get a lot of good calls. I think New England's going to win the Super Bowl this year. I could be wrong, but I think New England's going to win. What about you?
Okay, we got a thing, and we're going to put up here.
Let's see.
Yeah, we got to put something up.
I don't have a lot to say other than I think that.
I'm going to put this up in the last few minutes.
Go ahead.
No, I was just letting you close out the show because I've got to put up something about one of our commissioners dying.
I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, well, let me say my last thought of the day. The Democratic field for president in 2020 will assure President Trump's reelection, which is a good thing. We need Trump. We need 4 more years of Trump to straighten out the mess that Obama left him. My only concern is what's the country going to be like after Trump? Who could we get to follow Trump?
It's going to be a tough act to follow.
Yeah, I tell you, he's going to go down as one of the great presidents, unlike his predecessor.
If the Democrats get in and they take over the presidency, and if they get Bernie Sanders or Harris or any of them, this thing is going to hit in the tank, and there will be a revolution. Mark my words, we'll be hiding out someplace doing the radio show so people can watch it on their cell phones.
Hey, so, I think that the American people are too smart, and the genius of our founding fathers with the Electoral College. And you know, tell you what, if there's any politician that says we need to get rid of the Electoral College, what we need to do is get rid of that politician.
Yep. All right, buddy. Well, I'm going to let you get out of here. We'll see you next Tuesday night. I'm sure there's going to be a whole hell of a lot more.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of exciting things to cover.
Yeah, what's your tie about this
week? We didn't
week?
Get to talk about medical marijuana, but we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, that'll work. We'll get a guy in here that has a lot of knowledge on it.
You know, I just want to make sure now when we're doing that show on marijuana, are you going to be like Snoop and like actually smoking it during the show?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't know. I know you're in Palatka, but
I'd be laid out in my chair.
Down there.
Maybe if they would have done it 40 years ago, I could have gotten legal marijuana back when I was in college.
Hey,
right now, I'd be passed out underneath the studio.
You can go on YouTube, and Woody Harrelson has opened up a CBD store. So he is really now at the forefront of legal medical-grade cannabis, also known as CBD. And his CBD is supposedly the best in the world.
I don't know. He better check out Willie's site first.
How about that? I know all these guys are getting in the CBD oil business. Hey, you got to thank Governor Scott for creating a whole new industry on medical marijuana oil, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, right. All right, well, we'll let you go, buddy. I got to get out of here.
All right, have a great day.
We'll talk to you next Tuesday night. Thanks, Greg.
See you next week. Bye.
That was my buddy Greg Williams, attorney at law up in Jacksonville. If you need a good attorney, he does everything but murder cases. So, anyways, I just got something from Crescent City Fire Station. It's from Mayor Brent Peterson. It's with great sadness that I am informing the city and the commissioner Marcus Hardy has passed away. Marcus has been dealing with a serious illness. Further details will be coming. Marcus was a go-getter full of ideas for a better Crescent City and a great supporter of the fire department. He will be missed by all of us, and our thoughts and prayers are with his family. So, you guys remember this guy, Marcus. I've had a few dealings with him before. He's always was upstanding. You know, he's a great guy. It's a terrible loss. You guys keep his family and stuff in your prayers. Also, our first responders. Keep them in your prayers. We got some stuff coming up. These guys and gals risk their lives day in and day out for you for very little pay. Make sure you walk up and thank them, and also your local police and fire and all the people and the first responders. This weekend we have the air show coming up at Palatka Airfield. It will not cost you one single penny to get in. It's a car and air show. Every year I go there and every year I cover it. If you catch me out there and you want your picture up on the Putman Way, make sure you just ask me. I'll take the picture, and I'll put your family up there, and we'll feature them. And Sue Flood just joined. But you joined a little late. You're going to have to go back and watch it because we've only got like 6 minutes. But, yeah, we have the air show going on this weekend out there. It doesn't cost anything. It's good family fun. Just don't let your kids run out on the runway. So far, there hasn't been any accidents there, but there's always a first time. But it's a great show, and it does not cost 1 red cent. Make sure you get there early because they do have a lot of parking. That should be pretty dry. We haven't really had any rain, have we? So, and Tammy is going to be having a show coming up here pretty soon. My partner in crime, Tammy from the Putman Way. And she keeps you guys well informed on what's going on in local events, wrecks, obituaries, all kinds of stuff. So you guys make sure you check out the Putman Way and also check out is that slow enough? IITWradio.com, or you can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, you name it. We're all over the freaking place. But I want to thank you guys for listening in tonight. And let's see, what else do we have coming up? Tomorrow night, we have Helen Hayes. She's going to be on here talking to you guys and gals about a program called Rebuild Florida. Now, if you've taken damage in from hurricanes in the past, they have several different options where you can get some help. From what I understand, you do not have to pay it back. If your home is over 17 years old, potentially, from what I understand now, and I hope she corrects me or says I'm right tomorrow night, we'll find out, that they will, in fact, replace your mobile home. So make sure you listen tomorrow night. She is going to be on here at 7 o'clock sharp. It will not start at 7:30 tomorrow night. It will start at 7. So you're going to want to listen in so you can make sure, even if you had damage and you got a FEMA check, there's still programs that will come in and fix whatever you got. And I know I talked to a few people this past week. One of the ladies told me her roof is still damaged. So this is a good way to either get it fixed or get it replaced. From what I understand, though, they're only offering a few things, a few mobile homes. That's limited. Of course, it would have to be limited. Not everybody in Putnam County is going to get one. That'd be 68,000 new mobile homes. So make sure, let's see, Housing and Repair, Florida.jobs.org. Is that where it's at? I don't know.
That's the URL.
Okay. Florida.jobs.org. Okay, Rebuild Florida /housing. If you look on the Putman Way, you'll see where the link is up there right now, and you can read about it. It gets all confusing to me. She will walk us through some more of it. And then Friday night, we have What's Pissing Me Off. Cletus has a couple of videos coming up on Friday night. He's not going to be in the studio tomorrow night, right? Oh, by the way, say hi, Chris. Where's the hand? He got pretty arms. You don't have any hair on your arms, do you?
Yes, sir.
How the hell did you pull that off? You look like Matilda Gorilla. Okay, what else have we got? Is there anything else I'm missing? Oh, yeah, I got to thank our artists from IITW Radio. You guys can gals go on there and listen. We have some 4,000 artists on our shows, playing throughout the day. You can, if you go to, now the iPhone app is not, the privacy policy is, we're still waiting to hear back from them, but it should be out on iPhone when, after the first of the month. But it is on Androids right now. You can go to Google Play Store, look for IITW Radio. We have some great musicians and stuff on there, a little over 4,000 now. And you can go on there and vote for your favorite artist. And if we get enough votes on certain people, we will definitely bring them in. Calvin O opened up the show tonight with One Nation Under God. And who do we have closing it out tonight?
Austin Neal Brothers in Arms.
Oh, Austin Neal Brothers in Arms. Okay, I didn't know if we changed it out. That's a great song. It's about a guitar that he had that he sent to his brother who was over in Kuwait and Iraq. And these soldiers took an IV needle and carved in this beautiful, we got to put up a picture of that next Tuesday night or Friday night. Let's plan on Friday night. But this guitar has been all over the place, and now it's wound back up in his possession. But it's been through wars and all kinds of stuff, and our soldiers have played it. It is a kick-butt story. But check out his song. Anywho, we're going to have to get out of here. Our time is up. Thank you guys very much for listening and for reading the Putman Way. Make sure you go over and check out Tammy's new page called A Zen Lemon Tree. I believe Saturday night they might be doing a cooking show in the next week or so, next 2 weeks. And she's going to be doing a cooking show. Tammy can cook like nobody's business. I've eaten her cooking forever. And the woman knows how to cook. Simple, quick stuff that you can come home and do really quick. Baking cakes, but they're going to be talking about women's issues. All right, remember to keep your first responders. Thank you to all of our veterans who have risked your lives for us and our police officers And everybody else, we love you. You have a good evening. I got to go. I'm out. Oh, I got to give my shout outs. Mama B, Rosie, my sister Lori, who's probably not listening on. I'm going to have to whip her ass. Let's see, Annette, Audrey, Mr. Steve, Tammy, Cameron, Tiffany. We hope you're getting better, girl. And to the mayor, or to, make sure you read all of our advertisers as they scroll by at the end of the show. Okay, guys, gals, I'm out. Bye.
Brothers in